Hello friends, welcome once again to Andy Tech Cyber channel. So for today, I'm making a video on the requirements you need to apply for a graduate studies. Now, please take a moment, subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my videos. I'll really plead that when you watch the video, you like it, you comment. Yeah, you can share your ideas or your views, and it's gonna be respected actually. Now, a recommendation letter. This is one hectic document to get, especially these are documents you as a student cannot provide for yourself, right? You need to reach out to, being it your academic advisor, being it your lecturer, your boss at work. It doesn't really matter, right? So mostly some people think with the recommendation letters they can only take them from their lecturers. But it's not only your lecturer. You can take recommendation letters from even someone you've worked with, like your boss. I know some schools will be, descriptive enough. Some schools will tell you one should like one recommendation letter should come from an academic, entity or an academic agent or your lecturer or anything of that sort. And then another one should come from let's say your boss or your someone who has some work experience with you, right? Now recommendation letters, basically they are letters your recommender, being it your lecturer or your boss at work, is using to inform the reviewers of your application that this student, I've worked with the student before, or I've worked with this person before. For example, in the letter, the lecturer will be like, I know Andy. Andy was this, Andy was that. Andy is a good student. The lecturer would have to state what strength you have. Basically, it's always positive, right? So that's also gonna influence the reviewers of your application to decide to consider you. Because if someone who has stayed with you for like 4 years in school is telling me this is a good student, then I should believe, right? So that's what recommendation letters are. Now, I would want to advise majority of our people complete school, and when it's time for them to go for recommendation letters, it becomes a problem because, like I said, you cannot write it for yourself. It has to be your lecturer or your boss. Now, mostly it's difficult because imagine you completed, you're out of school, and now you have to come back to school because sometimes you call the lecturers and they won't even answer. So you have to come back to school to plead. Sometimes you have to beg, you know. So while you're in school, like if you're in school right now, please try to create that relationship with your lecturers. It's really important. Let them know what your future ambitions are. Let them know, sir, after completing, I wish to pursue my study abroad. I would need your help. Let them know. Let them be prepared. So that when it's time for them to help, they already know what you want to do and they can easily help you, right? Because imagine you completed, you've never even spoken to a lecturer. Now you go to them because you need help from them. Some lecturers, they'll tell you no, right? So I want to advise recommendation letters are really important in the application process. Some schools will never process your application if your recommendation letter is not received. Now, for the United States, unlike other countries, United States sometimes or mostly will not allow you, the student, to upload a recommendation letter. So what they do is they mostly take the contact information of your recommender, and then the school will directly send a request to the recommender for the recommender to upload the recommendation letter. So always give the lecturers or your recommenders prior notice, even before you start your application. You should know that that document will definitely be needed, right? So let them know, sir, I would need your help with this, this, and that. right? Once you let them know, then they are expecting it. But you don't send the information to the school when the lecturer does not even know. You've not notified the lecturer. Then it's gonna take 1,000 days or years, right? So it's really important. Recommendation letters are really important letters, and it's also part of the required documents for majority of the schools, even all the schools. So you'd want to do your due diligence and also be proactive so that at the time you need it, you can receive it and you can start your application. This is really important, right? Now, the next thing is resume. Resume, basically, we call it CV. Some call it CV. Anyway, resume is also mostly a one-page document. I'm not saying it should strictly be one page, but if you come to the United States, you understand why your resume shouldn't exceed two pages. Even if it has to exceed, it shouldn't be two full pages, right? That's just a topic for another day. So basically, why you ask yourself, why would someone who is reviewing my document for a school would request for my resume? Actually, resume is really important. Sometimes there are some measures, or for example, let's say you want to apply for PhD, right? So some PhD programs require some skills. If you don't have certain skills in the field, they won't allow you. And when it comes to they reviewing your skills, your previous work history, your experiences, resume comes in handy. That's the good resources. They can get all that information, right? So please, while you're in school, if you've never ever made a resume, start thinking about it. Start watching videos. Start reading books, articles on how to create a resume for school because you meet them. It's quite unfortunate that many people do not make arrangement for these things before they start applying, but instead they apply, they get to the point where they need to present these documents, and they get stuck because the person might have never even done resume before, touch resume before. So at that point, the person would have to now go and make research about it. What if there is a deadline for the school you want to apply? You know, the education abroad journey, you have to be proactive. It's really important. That's one advice I want to give you. Be proactive. Don't waste a lot of time. Whilst you're gonna pursue that, start making preparation towards it. Every day, every hour, every second, start thinking about what you have to do, especially when you think or when you know you can prepare for some information or some of the requirements. Start doing that till you start the main process. So CV is also really important. Please learn how to create a CV. It's gonna really help you aside admission. When you come to the States, trust me, for you to get a job, resume, right? It really counts. Now, let me use this opportunity to also advise that you take LinkedIn serious. I didn't capture that in my presentation, but take LinkedIn really serious. That's a little advice. Yeah, so resume is also part of the required document. And so I would want to advise that you look into that and also you start preparing for that. Now, what's the next thing I want to talk about? Passport, the almighty. Of course, you cannot leave the shores of Ghana without a passport. You cannot travel to the United States without a passport. You need a visa, right? And where are they going to stamp the visa? In the passport. So if I'm in the for example, if I'm currently in level 200 or level 300, Ghana's system, especially how long it takes for you to get your passport when you go through the process. Eh? So why would you wait till you complete before you apply for your passport. Think about it. When you know school abroad, that journey is time bound. So I want to advise passport, it should be the first document you want to apply for, the first document you want to prepare for. Even if you don't have the ambition to travel, please get your passport. The way God works, He's a miracle God. He works miracles. Sometimes you least expect, then there'll be an opportunity. It's quite unfortunate that majority of my friends, majority of them, some opportunities had to slip by because at the point the opportunities came, they didn't have passports. And that's really sad, right? It's really sad. It's something they could have prepared for. But hey, that's why some of us, we are here to inform you. Start preparing for your passport. This is not something someone has to tell you, especially when you know you want to travel outside Ghana. Start applying for your passport. For example, you're in 200 or level 100, you apply for it, even if it's going to take 1 year. By the time you reach, by the time you know you complete, you already have your passport. And that's going to make life really easier for you, right? So passports is also important. Now, the school, they expect or they take your passport because that's what's legally going to tell them where you come from, which country you're a citizen of, and then also the most important thing, your name and its arrangements, right? Your date of birth. So passport is a legal document, right? So the school mostly they take passport as part of the admission requirements or the application requirements, So it's really important for you to prepare for that. Now the academic tests, TOEFL, IELTS, GRE. Man, it's not easy, right? So someone would ask, Andy, do I necessarily have to write any of these? I would tell you no, but mostly it depends on the school, right? And it depends on a lot of factors. Now, some of these factors are, if by God's grace you completed with a high grade, right, or a high CGPA, for example, 3.6, 3.7, 3.8, it's very easy to get a school. Trust me. It's very easy to get a school in the United States. Now, where it becomes relevant for you to write these standard tests or academic tests is when you're battling for graduate assistantship. Now, mind you, we are competing with the world. You're not only competing with Ghanaians, Indians, and Indians are also competing with Ghanaians, Canada, Europe, etc. And so you want to present yourself as worthy as possible. So I always advise, if you think you have the means, if even you've gotten a first class and you think you have the means, write GRE or IELTS, depending on the program you want to pursue and then the school. Of course, majority of my friends, they completed school. Personally, I didn't write GRE, I didn't write IELTS, I didn't write none of these, right? But I know people who also didn't write any of these, and by God's grace, now they have full scholarship. They are graduate assistants or even research assistants, right? On the other hand, I know people, they had good grades, first class, second class, upper, etc., but they still went ahead and wrote this. Now, this is what happens. If you have, let's say, first class or second class upper, and you pass GRE, bro, when you apply for a school, they will consider you as soon as possible. Really swift. Why? Because they see you to be a perfect student. So comparing someone who just completed with a high, like first class, and the person doesn't have any of these tests. And let's say I also completed first class and I've written GRE and passed. Now I add GRE to my first class, grade or CGPA, and then both of us apply. They'll consider me, especially when it comes to these scholarships. But I'm not saying it's always needful, right? If you get good grades, pray, research, you get a school. It's not easy, trust me. I know it's not easy, but just do your best. Now, most importantly, if you think your grade isn't good enough, then I would advise, please, write either IELTS or GRE. But I'll say again, depending on your program. Now, some schools deem these as required documents. What does that mean? It means some schools will tell you, if you don't have GRE, we cannot consider you for admission. If you don't have IELTS, we cannot consider. So we are fortunate. We were colonized by the Britain, right? And so our official language as Ghanaians is English. So majority of the schools personally I applied when I started this process, they waived the English requirement for Ghanaian students because they know of language for teaching, for learning has always been English, and so that's good. But for GRE, please, if you think you had lower class pass, write GRE. It's gonna supplement what you have, and that's gonna give you a chance, right? So that's the advice. So GRE, IELTS, TOEFL, you would want to sit down and read the requirements of the school you're applying for or you're applying to. And the school will tell you whether these tests are required or not. If they are not, that's good. You would want to do it as an option, right? So that it can help, push you up there. But if you think you don't have it and you have good grades, go ahead, bro. By God's grace, I got a good grade. By God's grace, and then I didn't write none of these tests, and yeah, I'm here. By God's grace. So there's hope. So these are other requirements you also want to think about, especially when you're in school. When you're in school, mostly you can learn when you're in school. When you complete, it's difficult, right? So now that you're in school, your brain is working. If you can, I would advise you write GRE, especially when you get to your final semester. You write GRE. Okay, finally, so application fees. Yeah, that's one thing that deters a lot of people from applying. Andy, I don't have money. Andy, I can apply. Andy, this application fee. Yeah, I know. It's difficult. I've been there. I've been there. I remember when I started applying. Man, I made a lot of sacrifice. Trust me. When by God's grace I completed, I knew there's no way I'm gonna stay in Ghana, right? I prayed to God about it, and I knew God was gonna answer my prayers. And so I had to plan. God being so good, I got a good job doing my national service. And I told myself, I'm gonna save towards studying abroad. So I saved, right? I saved a lot. And that really helped me a lot because that gave me the opportunity to apply to a lot of schools. I applied to majority, and it's always good to have more than less, right? And so I want to advise. In Ghana, we call it susu. Start it to susu, right? Start saving. Don't spend everything you get right now, especially when you have this dream. Learn to save, right? Learn to save. It entails a lot, especially when you see, it's really sad when you've gotten a school, they give out scholarships, and you don't have money to apply to the school. It's really sad. It's disheartening. So I pray to God that He grants everybody the financial, strength to be able to go through this. But especially when you complete school. I know Ghana's national service money is no money, but it doesn't really matter. Save what you can save, especially. This dream is worth sacrificing for. Sacrifice your instant gratification for this dream, especially when you really want to delve into that. And it's gonna pay off, right? Yeah. So for the application fees, some schools provide application waivers. So here I recommend something we call cold mailing or cold emailing, right? So sometimes you'd wanna, find some key, important people. You search in the school's website and then you try to identify some influential people you think you can reach. Get their emails, send them an email. I remember when I was applying for a school, at the point I didn't have money, right? I had enough though. I applied a lot, but I was short of funds. So I had to get some schools, some professors' email. I'll be like, hey, I really want to pursue my studies abroad, but I'm short of money. I don't have money right now, and I don't even have enough to buy food for myself. Can you help grant me a waiver? Well, some of them I had a good luck, but others no. Right. So there's no harm in trying, like they always say. So sometimes when let's say you realize an application fee for a school is something that is too much for you to be able to bear, try doing a cold email, try mailing the school and then request for an application waiver. Sometimes it could be, luck could be on your side or for you to be able to, to be considered. But the underlying thing is save, right? Start saving. Save a lot. Don't forget that. Save, save, save a lot. Right. So I think basically I've gone through all I want to go through. Yeah. And I don't want to dispute the fact that majority of these, even with the schools in the United States, aside this general document, there are program specific documents. Some programs will tell you to create a portfolio or something like that, write a research, paper and stuff like that. So those are program specific requirements. So it's always important after you go to the general document or general requirements, go to the program site, the website of the program you want to pursue, and find or identify the specific requirement for that particular program, right? So that's also really gonna help. So I want to thank God for how far He's brought us, and I know I've shared a lot of information. This is valuable, bro. Some people are sharing this information for thousands of dollars. I'm giving it to you for free, right? So all I want you to do is subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my videos, share, right? So that you can, it can be of value to other people as well, you know. And yeah, by God's grace, I'll be making a lot of, educative and informative videos. Of course, I'll still be making videos on cybersecurity because I think it's really important. It's sad day in day out people get hacked when there are certain things they can do to prevent or avoid these things. So I'm also gonna still be doing the videos on that. So this is gonna be the end of the video. So in concluding, right? So uh what I just said is, it's really important to note these requirements. Please, it's really important. Be proactive. It's really important. Be proactive. Don't waste time, especially if you know you want to do this. Don't waste time. Be proactive. It's really important. Be proactive, right? Yeah. And also, I would say this dream is for everybody. It's for everyone out there. Some people have this notion, this mindset that this, study abroad thing is for some class of people, but that's not true. That's not true. Pray to God, do your honest part, and God is gonna make a way for you. Trust me. God is gonna make a way for you. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for for your time. Um please give me a comment and a like if you like this video. If there's something, if there was a mistake somewhere, if you want also, if you want to suggest some ideas for me to make a video on, please, you can go ahead and then do that in the chat or in the comment box. And then I'm gonna take it up and also make videos like that. So thank you once again, and it's been a pleasure, serving you. And I pray God blesses each one of you, right, and make all your dreams come true. If you're out there, you're starting this process, I pray that God sees you through and then makes a way for you, just as He's made a way for some of us. So thank you very much, and then see you next time. God be with you all. All right, thank you.